Welcome back to part 3 of our interview with Aaron Bird, where he gives college grads 5 tips on being an entrepreneur, in addition to his take on how to change your company's culture. Don't go anywhere. Part 3 is just around the corner.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performance Podcast
with your host, Thor Conklin.
Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. You know, it's interesting. I woke up this morning and I do my best thinking in the morning. So as soon as I wake up, I don't just dive into things. I take some time. Sometimes I'll even just lay in bed and write some notes. I always keep a notepad on the nightstand. And I woke up today, for some reason, it was about culture. And I said, so often we're brought into companies and the leadership team wants to tell us about their culture. And I said, I don't need you to tell me about your culture, because your culture is what I see. It's what your customers see. It's not what we talk about. It's not what's on the wall. The culture is what you actually experience by interacting or seeing that company. And I said, okay, if that's what you see, what drove that? And it was obviously the behavior. The behavior drives the culture. And I said, okay, what drives behavior? I'm always about the end in mind and how do I dissect it, right? Get back to what are the drivers? What are the things that are causing this? I said, what drives behavior? I said, simple. It's great leadership, or maybe poor leadership, but it's leadership times your values. That drives the behavior. And then the behavior creates the culture. The culture is not something that you just determine. It's something that you end up with. So
yes.
Yeah. So literally, I was writing notes this morning. So when we were talking about culture, I was like, because so often people talk about, we want to set our culture. We want to change our culture. We want to put something up on the wall that's then going to become the culture, right? If it was that easy, right, it would be nice. But the culture is really not the root. It's really what you see after the leadership applies the values.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. When in fact I say the same thing when I interview folks, and they'll ask me oftentimes, what is the culture like? And I have my description. I can tell them what the culture's like, or obviously what I think the culture's like, but I push them to experience it. I'm like, I can give you our values, but those are just words on a piece of paper if it's not what you see in this interview, right? And so I do push them to say, like, why don't you check what I've told you with how your experience is, and if you don't feel like that's what's going on, then that isn't the culture. And I think, and as far as like changing culture, impacting culture, I think those are great topics. I think the founding team, when there's just 3 of you, you've got an opportunity to be deliberate about what kind of company you want to build, and we definitely did that early on. But as you hire people, right now I am one of 110 people at this company. I can't affect culture that much anymore. I can maybe make little changes, or I can tell people what I think I like we're doing and what I don't like we're doing, but if the culture isn't what I want it to be right now, it's going to be very hard to steer that ship in a different direction. And so it does build over time. It builds based on who you hire and why you hire them and why they join the company, and eventually it becomes something that is its own entity. Again, you can impact it a little bit, but you see CEOs coming in to companies that maybe there's a bad culture or there's things they want to change, and if you have 1,000 employees or 10,000 employees and you want to completely change that culture, that may not be possible. And getting it right from the beginning, at least that's from an entrepreneur's perspective, that's how I think about it. And at some point it becomes kind of bigger than you. And I think even the extreme example is companies like Amazon, right? Amazon has a core culture, and they're so big that when people join Amazon, they either become like Amazon or they leave, just because it's so big. And so it's like a gravity situation where one person can no longer really impact the culture. In fact, that culture is going to change who they are if they stay. And getting, once you get that right and you get big, then that's the snowball effect from there can be really huge.
Yeah, it's a real easy way to weed out people that don't fit. You don't have to worry about firing people. They leave. They leave when the culture is strong enough. They're just not a good fit, and they stand out, and they won't stay.
Yeah, and they're not happy. And,
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, nobody's right or wrong. It's just that if you're not a fit for that culture, I mean, there's plenty of country clubs. Okay, I play golf. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be a great fit in every single country club. There are some country clubs I'm not a good fit. Why?
Yeah,
because I stand out.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's not culture isn't. It's not like there's the right culture and then the wrong culture. Every company is different, and that's I think that's the beauty of especially today's job marketplace, where with really low unemployment, there's lots of places to work, and find the one that fits kind of your values and what you want to do and your lifestyle. And so it's not that it's right or wrong, but I think the only thing that is right or wrong is, like, do you have what you want? Are you going in the right direction? Because I think that you can also create toxic cultures and things that are way too political, and I've seen that in my career too. So I think but in the end, it's not every company is a fit for every person, and finding those matches are important.
Yeah, it's like personal relationships. Not every man and woman are a great fit for each other, or man and man or woman and woman. It doesn't matter. It's just everybody's got their own things that they're looking for, and you got to make sure that you're a good fit or a great fit for whoever you're with, whether it's a person or a company. I want you to take 3 minutes to kind of round this thing off, and then I want you to tell us a little bit about the company and where we can reach you. But give me 3 minutes. You've got some young entrepreneurs out here, or some wannabe entrepreneurs, and they're like, oh my God, I admire so much what you've been able to do here. I'm 21 years old, right out of college. I want to do my own thing. I want this monthly recurring revenue. I love a SaaS model. Give me 3 minutes of advice.
I think that learning is the number one thing. So if I was 21, graduating from college right now and wanted to start a company, I think step one, I would go work at an early stage startup to get a feel for how it's run, what they're doing. Get early enough that you've got access to the CEO, so you can, meet with them once a month and learn from them. And I think that's a good way to learn a lot in a year or two, and then go out and do something on your own. Startups are really hard, and giving yourself a little bit of a boost early on, I think, is by kind of watching something play out, good or bad, honestly, with a front row seat like that is really helpful. You're going to need a recruit. So obviously networking, like if it's software as a service, you're going to need lots of developers. You're going to need salespeople. So start meeting folks so that when you do decide to jump, maybe one or two of those folks will be excited about what you're doing and join you. You have to have a co-founder or multiple co-founders. You can't start a company on your own. There's lots, or at least that's my belief. I think the internet debates about this a lot, but it's just about impossible, and most venture firms won't fund single founders. So I think and follow something like the lean startup process. Focus on customers. Once you think you found that that problem that may actually just be a symptom, look at it from a very questionable lens. Like really dig. Try to prove yourself wrong when you have those kind of beliefs, because I think the biggest mistake that people make, particularly in technology, they think they have the right problem. They spend a year solving it because it takes time to take a product to market. They spend a year solving it, and then they go try to sell it, and they realize that they built the wrong product, or for the wrong market, or lots of different ways that it could not work out. and now you've burned a year of your life and resources and everything, and your co-founders' lives solving the wrong problem. So make sure that it's the right problem, and things like the lean startup process can help you make sure that is the right problem before you actually start writing code. I think that those are the things that that's the advice from me with the scar tissue to prove it, where I learned the hard way on a lot of things.
Aaron, drop the mic. That was awesome. If you haven't, if you listen to this thing right now, rewind 4 minutes. I was not going to stop. He could have gone on for an hour. Okay, you were on a roll. Go back and listen to that 3, 4, 5, 10 times. I don't care. 5 minutes. Oh, repeat. Really well done, man. I love it. As a matter of fact, you brought me back to a story when I was starting out in my career, when I was in the insurance business. I was working in New York, and we were doing corporate insurance. I was a young guy. I was a work-study student. So we went to school 4 months, and we worked 4 months. And my first stint at the company that was my co-op sponsor, they kind of threw me into the mix and said, okay, go start doing stuff. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just like I had English Lit 1, it's like I didn't even know what we were talking about yet. So I just get thrown into it. So I'm like, I'm going to find the guy like sits in the corner that knows all this stuff. And I found the guy, this mean, crotchety old dude, man, Drax Schramm. I remember him like he was yesterday. It's like your angry uncle or something, or grandfather. Yeah, he was amazing. So I would go in there every day. I'm like, Jack, I'm struggling. I need some help on that. I don't have time for this, kid. What am I gonna do all day? And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. I'll come back. Get in here. And then he'd spend like 2 hours just, I'm just taking notes, and he's just going on and on. And it's just every day was like this. So it was interesting. They were downsizing the company. They needed to get rid of some people, and he was on the list. I was, I don't know, 18, 19, 20 years old. I don't know. It was literally first semester of school. And I'm like, we can't get rid of this guy. I mean, he's amazing. He's like teaching me all this stuff. He's got to stick around. I called the secretary of the president and made an appointment with the president. Swear. This is a major firm in New York City, right? So I go and I said, sir, I know this is not, my area, but I just want to say these downsizing that we're doing, and you're letting the top guy go that's teaching all of us work-study students what to do. We can't let him go. So he goes, thank you very much for coming in. So I leave. I go back to I had a cubicle. Now I was going to get downgraded to like a chair somewhere in the corner. He calls me up and he goes, what the hell did you just do? Get to my office. So I run down to his office. What, sir? I said, this is bullshit. This is not going to happen. We're going to keep you here. He goes, I have a golden parachute. Do you know what that means? I'm like, golden parachute. No, we don't have the internet yet, so I can't look it up. He goes, they're giving me a lot of money to go away. I was like, oh. But I love that advice. I mean, there's so many people out there with so much information, are so willing to give it freely. Find them. I mentor young entrepreneurs, and it's some of the most rewarding work that I do. So find somebody out there. Look, we could go on and on and on, but I want the audience to have a chance to reach out to you, find out about Bizible. If you're out there in your marketing, you want to know where you're spending your dollars and what those dollars are producing for you, you got to get a hold of Aaron. So, Aaron, tell them how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, definitely. Go to bizible.com, Bizible. There's a lot of content there to learn from. There's a chat window if you want to just hop on a chat with one of our folks. And entrepreneur-related stuff, feel free to email me, Aaron at Bizible. It's Aaron at bizible.com. Happy to answer any questions. I know that I leveraged a lot of folks early on and always love giving back.
Great job. Thank you, and look forward to having you back on the show.
Definitely. Thanks so much. This was fun.
Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com. And I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners. And if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin. Click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.